Welcome back to another video. Today I'm going to do a video on a modification to the air conditioning unit. I think if you've seen enough YouTube videos out there, you'll see plenty of videos on that RV airflow, as well as the homemade kit where you can make it out of some foam inserts inside. I've done both of those, and I've also done a series of testing before and after, as well as some other modifications along the way. And I guess the bottom line is that if you have one of these Winnebago BUs or Navions, you'll realize that the stock air conditioner is not adequate in keeping it cool, especially when it gets, I would call it, once it starts getting in the high 80s, this air conditioner really struggles to keep up inside the RV. So I think I found a partial solution. If you'd like to check it out, stick around and I'll show you what I did. Let me give you a brief explanation of how I arrived here. So when I first found out this air conditioning could not keep up with the cooling in this RV, I did some modifications right away. Let me see right here. The very first one is this. In the air dump, I put one of these in. It's taped up right now, but it's same as this concept where you can open it and close it. And I had that, and it didn't make any difference. It blew some more air here, but it made no difference, and my AC could not keep up. Then the other thing I did was I also installed one in this line. Now, if you look down the line where the ducts are, I put one right here. So this blows out great. I insulated all the ducting inside. Behind this plastic trim, if you ever take it off, the insulation is missing completely here. Winnebago actually has no insulation in there. And if you look inside here, I put a double layer of denim foil backed denim insulation in here. Then on top of that, of course, I put a soft start on my air conditioner up above. And finally, I put the homemade DIY RV airflow, where you buy a block of foam. Now the how I got there was originally I ordered this RV airflow, and I discovered right away that it doesn't fit. The RV airflow was actually too thick, and what I realized or discovered was that the ceiling, Winnebago for whatever reason uses a ceiling that is not as thick as other RV manufacturers. So the original RV airflow never worked. I did work with them for a little while now. This was 2.5 years ago when I first got the RV. And I called the RV airflow, and he and I were going back and forth. And I gave him some measurements. And he said he may go into development. And we never talked again. And here we are later. And I noticed on their website that they have it's called a shallow pan RV airflow system. And we'll see if this works. I'm going to measure, after I did this modification, I'll call it the DIY modification, and I'll take some measurements with this at each duct. And I'm not going to go through the part of the fancy kit where I basically seal everything up. I just want to get basically a net difference. So I don't need to have the exact, we'll call it CFMs, how much air is blowing out of here. I just need to get it close enough and see if there's a difference. I actually hope that there's a difference between this homemade kit and this RV airflow, because I can see this one being a lot more efficient because of the curvature and how this works. So from an engineering standpoint, the air should flow much better with smooth, round curves, and there should be less turbulence inside. The piece I made inside, we make with a triangle, and everything is flat or square, so there's still some turbulence up there. And again, in theory, mathematically, this should work out better. So that's going to be my video today. So if you'd like to see that, stick around and I'll actually show you the final results. I do have some high expectations for this thing because I did spend quite a bit of money on this. They are pretty expensive for, I don't want to say what they are, just a big heavier, denser foam. So it is a dense foam. It's not like the lightweight packing foam, but at the end of the day, it is some sort of styrofoam. And, they obviously have to make their money for inventing such a thing. So I do hope for some better performance. So stick around and let's take an air measurement of all my ceiling, I'll call them diffusers or the ducting at each location with my modification in already, the DIY modification. And then at the end, we will put in this and let's see how it compares. So these are the items that comes with the kit. This is the actual RV airflow unit itself. Not quite sure what these pieces are yet. Looks like some kind of shims. And then these two pieces, they're like inserts that go into your ductwork, as well as some foam padding here. This is what originally came with the kit, but these are made wrong, so they sent me new ones here, and some installation instructions. And what we're going to do is we're going to take some pre-measurements. My air conditioner is on right now, but we're not going after exact. I'm making sure my ductwork, my louvers are faced in the same consistent direction. I'm doing this test with my homemade DIY kit with the foam insert inside that I made, just like everyone else on YouTube. Okay, we're about to take some measurements here with an anemometer, and to make it easy, we're actually going to use miles per hour. I think everyone associates with wind speed at miles per hour, so we'll use that. There are other functions, but this isn't going to be a 100% accurate test. We're just getting the general baseline. So let's put it up here right now. I'll call it 14.3 on that one. On this one here, only 4.9, 5.1. And then this one here, looks like we're about 6 miles per hour. And then the last one in line in the bathroom here, we're about 7.6. And then we'll go to the other side of the ductwork. This is the last one in line. On this side here, this is 10.5. And then this one here, about 9.2. And this one, most people will not have this one. This is the one I put in here. Okay, and that should give us a good baseline before we install this RV airflow kit. Let's see if this is worthwhile compared to the DIY kit. I can tell you that this DIY kit does perform better than the standard factory where you have the air dump coming out. But at the end of the day, it's still not satisfactory on keeping the RV cool. So let's go ahead and put this in and see what happens. Right, we're going to take this AC unit cover off. Now to get to the screws, you just pull out these little filters here. Easy. Then there's some screws. Here, your plate's going to look different. There's a center plate here that I've taken off already when I did my original modification. This is that homemade modification kit here. Let me take these screws out. Okay. And then if you look here, this is the homemade kit in my plenum. This is basically sealing it off, but I'm going to have to slowly start taking this tape off, and let's see how well this comes off. Okay, this 5/16 ratchet here. I'm going to take these 4 bolts off here. These long bolts are what actually holds the air conditioner. It basically sandwiches the air conditioner from the top to this bottom of this roof here. It basically sandwiches it with this bottom plate. And let's take these bolts out. You only have to remove well, technically you have to remove all 4 to get this plate loose. So let me remove these. And once you remove the last bolt, you'll be able to pull this metal plate down here. Basically, this plate is like a giant washer that squeezes the bottom of the ceiling to the air conditioner. So I guess I'll rip this out here. Okay, so here we go. So this triangle piece here, so this triangle piece went up like this and made the airflow right into the side duct. So here's a side duct here and a side duct here. And this is the blower from the air conditioner. So why I went through all these modifications was that at the very beginning I did do a test on this where I removed everything from the ceiling just like this, and I let this blower run full speed with the air conditioner, and what I discovered was that it actually blew super hard and it cooled the RV. Let me turn on the air conditioner. Now you can see how hard this air conditioner is blowing. And let's look at the wind speed in miles per hour. Basically almost 35 miles per hour without it being, without us making a surround, but just a generic. So without a shroud, let's look at over here. Look at that, it's blowing so hard. That's what it's doing to my window shades. So what I know right up front is that this thing provides plenty of wind. It's a matter of getting this air conditioning inside the RV. Shut that off. So let me show you the rest of this. There's a big void here too. So all this tape has to come off. Now this is this tape that I installed. I sure hope this works because I do not want to redo this work. I spent a good few hours doing this work and I do not want to redo. Basically, pieces like this were just in there to fill in the cavity area. If you ever wanted to see what your Winnebago roof is like, This is all it is. This is what's your Winnebago roof. There's a tiny little piece of fiberglass here. This is Luan. And then this foam. And this is the problem here. Many of the other manufacturers have an actual thicker foam. And Winnebago has a thinner foam, which is, obviously less R value overall. But that's what's creating this modified plenum, where the RV airflow would not work, and that's probably why you don't see very many videos out there of the RV airflow being installed on a Winnebago View. So I can already tell I'm going to run into some challenges here. This is not going to be a direct plug-and-play kit. Okay, I have the unit all cleaned up. And let me give you a little rundown of what I did. Besides cleaning all this up, I also shifted the whole air conditioner just slightly, maybe in half an inch forward, to give me a little bit of a lip right here. And that lip is so I can get this gasket. I want to make sure I have a mating surface for this gasket. Originally this was pushed back all the way, so there was no place for that gasket to seal on this backside, so I shifted everything a little bit forward. All you do is, once you have these 4 bolts off, you can shift this air conditioner pretty easily in all directions. The other thing, looks like I'm going to run into a challenge, is that here's the actual duct. If you ever want to see what the duct inside, let's get a light in there, and you see what's going on in here? So inside this duct channel, if you can see, it splits to the left and to the right. And the bottom of it is really to the actual luan, the bottom of the ceiling itself. There's nothing in between. And then inside, if you look way deep inside, it looks like a V. It channels from the back to the front. So it looks like it has a nice curvature. The other thing I noticed is that this opening, this metal opening here, it's actually on the inside, it's actually wider than this metal opening. And I did end up calling RV airflow, and it looks like we can actually take this metal channel out. Now this metal channel looks like what they're using it for is support for the actual foam ceiling. You can see some metal here on this side, and then there's 2 on this side. And this little piece here is basically probably so this piece of foam doesn't break. I'm not too worried about it. This is where the air conditioner is, and there's a big clamping surface that goes on the exterior. So this foam insert can just be taken out. Looks like there's no glue over here, and it's only glued a little bit on top of this luan. This is again from RV airflow. That's what they told me. And then what I plan on doing, so I actually utilized the full force of the air conditioner, and this piece, it won't fit in here right now, it's too large, and I'll be able to cut some of this foam out and make the opening bigger, because the inside duct is actually plenty big. So I'll take this metal piece out, put this insert in, lay a template, and basically cut a section of this foam out. And I don't know if I can really show you how I remove the foam, but if I can, I will show you some of the process. Otherwise, I'll show you the after portion. Okay, let me show you what I'm doing. Basically, I'm taking a scraping tool, and I have it wedged in between the luan and this piece of metal. And I'm just going to basically release the glue here, or hopefully I can. Let's see how well this works. That did it. Okay, well there's that little piece of metal. It was only glued on to the luan down below. Unfortunately, looks like I made a little chip pieces here. But now I'll be able to put this whole insert in here. And I don't know if you can see this, but I will just notch out part of this foam a little bit here and a little bit here, because I have plenty of room on the inside, and I should be able to put this piece in without trimming it at all. Okay, well, I'm gonna trace this out, and looks like I'll be cutting some foam. I didn't want to show you all of this, but I guess it's probably important because, you know, sometimes this stuff looks really easy on camera and we want to make it. Let's see here. So I don't think I can go that far back. I think I need to take some of this out here as well. Just gotta figure out what take it to there. And I only need to take that portion out there. I just gotta figure out how to shave this foam away. Okay, I've decided the best tool I have in the arsenal is my multi-tool here. So I'll give this a shot and see if we can get this done. Okay, well, let me give you kind of a rundown of what I have here. I opened up I gotta vacuum it out, but I've cut this foam here and here. I'm gonna clean up the edges with a file here, and I'll show you when it's all done, and I'll put that insert in. Okay, we're gonna knock this metal insert over on the passenger side. So this is the piece we took off the driver's side. No glue at all except the very bottom. And I'm just using my scraper tool here. And, you know, it probably would work better if I just heated the scraper tool up. And I bet this glue would just come right off. But let's do it the old-fashioned way here. So far, so good. Okay. Just need to break that glue bond. Well, just like that. This side came out much better. I'm going to keep it consistent with this thin piece on this back side. And if I remember, I just took a hair off this side here. When this piece goes to the edge, and then from there, I will trace out the remaining I need to cut out, which is here. Has to go all the way to the bottom. This isn't exact. I'm cutting it a little small so that piece fits in there snug, not loose. So let's go ahead and take this piece off first. Okay, and then this piece here, let's start with. Okay, and I can't get it this way. This way here. How did I take this last piece off? Did I run? Simple enough. On this side again. I mean, this looks much tougher than it actually is, but it's basically removing some foam. You could do this with like a rasp. See how I have this file? And you can just literally, it'll take longer, but you could file all this away if you get more of an abrasive rasp. They have rasps for actually foam. This is just a regular plain old wood file. Okay. Just like that. So that piece fits in there. I'm going to clean this up nicer, and I'll show you at the end of the video what it's like. Came with these little spacers, and I think I've figured it out. The spacer is to actually go on the bottom of this opening because this is thinner or not as tall. So this spacer here will go on just like this here. So let me see if I can get this right. This one I'm putting over on this side here. And let's see here. So when that blower blows into here, you see how it's nice and curved. the airflow is going to bend around that curve and come out this ductwork nicely. Instead of a flat bottom plate, the factory one would have a bottom plate. It would hit this plate, you know, a bunch of turbulence would be here, and then it would flow into here, which means that the actual diffusers would not blow much air. So to the mechanical engineers out there, I'm sure this is just simple, call it fluid dynamics to them. For us simpletons here, basically, you know, it's just like water. When it flows, if it goes around a nice curve, it's going to flow much smoother than if it came abrupt to a stop and made a T. Hopefully I explained that right, but this should work, right? This is simple fluid dynamics. All right, let's go ahead, and it says put it at a 45-degree angle. So we do have to be careful. You see how thin this is. It tells you right there it's fragile. And let me see if I can manipulate this in there. Oh, that didn't sound good. Well, I had a little bit of a mishap. I ended up breaking or cracking part of the foam. I taped it all up. This is after it actually repaired really nicely, pretty easily. Let me see. Let's put this back in here now. Now, it says to put it at a 45-degree angle, but also what I discovered was part of this likes to get caught up on this side. One side's easy to put in, the other side's kind of hard, and that's how I ended up cracking it. So the instructions say you could use this as a shim. Basically, you're going to put this in here to help aid guide its install, and then you can slip it out. Let's see if this will work. Let's see. Okay. So this side I got in. This is the side I was getting stuck on before. And we have to watch, make sure we don't hit any of this here. And let's see if we can get this. There we go. Just like that. And then we'll pull this shim piece back out. It worked like a charm. Now with that, we have to put this tray on here to keep it in. Now I'm debating on, one thing I'm going to do different is I'm going to tape this up now. So now that I know everything's going to fit, I'm actually going to tape all these seams here, because when I did a dry fit, I noticed some air escaping out of here. So this would be a good chance to at least get this bottom part, because once you put this piece on, you can't really get the tape inside some of this. So let's go ahead and do that. The install kit comes with this silver tape. It doesn't tell you what to do with it, but this makes sense to me. So let's just do some dry fitting here. Almost in that piece. Let's do, should probably fold it up first before I did this. Let's get this piece in here like this. So I'll use those screw holes. That way I'll get a nice seal here. Air shouldn't escape back out of here. And let's do a piece here. Doesn't have to be 100% accurate. I wish it would state this in the instructions, unless if I glanced over it really quick. I didn't see it saying anything on this, but I did notice quite a bit of air when I tested this. I did notice quite a bit of air leaking out of here, so we don't want any of this air to come out of here at all. Put this in there like that. Same thing. Here. Okay. It'd be nice if this actually came from the factory this way, because that's how it should come out. I mean, having inadequate air conditioning is a common problem with these manufacturers. I know RV Airflow has a agreement with Grand Designs to have it come out with it from the factory, and Grand Designs is owned by Winnebago, so I don't see why Winnebago couldn't do the same thing. This particular model, you know, this Winnebago View definitely needs all the help it can get on the air conditioner, and it doesn't even, you don't even really need to be in a really hot area. I find it to be very inadequate as soon as you get into, you know, mid 80 degree weather. This thing does not perform very well. Probably a necessary modification unless if you live in a cold climate where air conditioning is not a big deal, but you know, I don't live in such areas. And it's not even just living in it. Most of our travels, we run into areas where you just absolutely need the air conditioning. Get this on here. Okay. Well, if you know anything about these air conditioners, you do have to be careful you don't torque these down too tight. Just to get it started. Okay. I'll hand tighten the rest of the way. Where is it? 5/16. Okay, 5/16. There we go. Okay, this does have a torque setting, but I'm just going based on my previous experience on hand tightening these. Basically, you're trying to squeeze down this gasket a little bit, but not too much. These are still pretty loose. Okay, now we're getting a little bit tighter. Okay, well, this piece is on. let's do a test. Let's fire up the AC and let's go ahead and check the speed with the air conditioner on. Let's go ahead and take some air speed readings now that I have the modification done. This one, we'll call it 16.5. This one here, 3.3. .5. 10.5. 13. 7.6. And the last one that other people will not have, 7.8. Okay, well, I will compare that to the previous math and let's see where we end up. Let me give you the actual real-world performance on how it's doing. Let's first start and look at, I do have this cab area curtain. Without that area curtained off, you know, the cab gets very hot, so that's an absolute necessity. It is a very sunny day outside. I do have the awning partially out. And let's look at some stats. Outside temperature is 94.8, about 95 degrees. Indoor temperature is 79 degrees. The refrigerator, I do have the refrigerator on. That way I have, you know, we'll call it the common heat load. This is the only heat load going on right now besides the light and me inside. And looks like my temperature setting back here, the actual is 79. My set point is 75, so it can't keep up. It's 79 degrees. With it being 95 degrees outside, before this modification, my temperature in here would probably be about 85 degrees. It'd be struggling. It's having a hard time keeping up right now, but it's still much better than it was before. Not as much as I would like it, but I'll take what I can get. So I'm at the heat of the day too. We're about almost 3 o'clock in the afternoon, 2:30, in between 2:30 and 3 o'clock. So my RV, this entire side faces the south. So I get a good beating of the sun along the entire roof line. Like I mentioned, I do have the awning out a little bit, so this window is not getting blasted with the sun. But it's helping a little bit. You know, you'll have to determine if it's worthwhile doing this modification or not. It's definitely better than the stock unit. So if you're having a hard time keeping up with your AC, I would highly recommend putting this in because it will be better than nothing, that's for sure. Yeah, the only thing I can say is, you know, proof-wise, it is helping a little bit in here, so I'll take what I can get. Hopefully this video helped you out a little bit, and maybe you'll decide if you want to put this in or not. You know, it's not a direct plug in and fit in. You do have to carve some of that foam out, and not overly complex, but on a scale of 1 through 10, well, number one, the RV airflow is not any harder to install than the homemade kit. I think I spent more time on the homemade kit. Taking out that little bit of foam, I was a little bit worried because I haven't done it before. That probably took most of my time, but at the end of the day, it only took, I think, from beginning to end, even cutting out the foam and all the cleanup, I think I spent a total maximum of 2 hours on it. So, you know, the value for the dollar, you will have to determine it. It is pretty expensive, but, you know, the offset is you do get a little better air conditioning performance. Don't expect a miracle with just one air conditioner, but I hope this video helps out. If you have any questions or comments, write them down below. I have no affiliation with RV Airflow. I'm sure there's tons of discount codes out there. I didn't use any discount codes. I bought this on my own whim, And like I mentioned at the beginning of the video, this was something I was going to put in at the very beginning, but they just did not have anything available for the shallow plenum at that time. So you will have to determine if this is the right fit for you. If you have any questions or comments, write them down below. Hit that thumbs up button, and we'll see you on the next video.